Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
But even though we've answered these concerns, I've got to say I suspect there's still going to be some who are trying to move the goalposts on us. One more time. You know, they said we needed to triple the Border Patrol. Or now they're going to say we need to quadruple the Border Patrol. Or they'll want a higher fence. Maybe they'll need a moat. Maybe they want alligators in the moat.
And they're suing me. All right, folks, welcome back. And joining us now is Beau Dietl, former New York Police Department detective and CEO and founder of Beau Dietl Associates. You see him all over, and he's involved in all kinds of exciting projects on HBO, etc. Great to see you.
Good being here.
Thanks for coming in.
I've been following Newsmax, and welcome to the production.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of Newsmax, I will accept your welcome.
Yeah.
All right, we got a very serious problem, and you're here to talk about something that is almost unfathomable. Almost, again, I keep saying, how did we get to this place under Obama? But here we are now, where these illegals who come in, who actually see a judge or are waiting to see a judge, they get an order to appear, notice to appear, and that means 90% of them never come back. Mm-hmm. So they could now take this notice to appear and get on any commercial airline in the country.
When I heard about it this morning, I called up your head guy there.
You mean Mr. Christopher Ruddy?
Mr. Ruddy.
Yes.
I says, you know what? I got to get on about this thing. I said, I'm so outraged. When people are boarding planes, commercial airliners, with a piece of paper that can be on a copy machine, whatever it is, no photo ID, and they're able to fly around the United States domestically and fly. You got ICE, you got TSA, they're going on our planes. What's scary is they're coming from third world countries where you have diseases prevalent. God knows what they're bringing. You're on a plane, somebody's coughing, you don't know what they're coughing up. They got mosquitoes in their hair. I don't know. My problem here is when we go on a plane, we got to take our shoes off. You can't bring a bottle of water, and we're American citizens. When is it going to stop? What has happened now, and I was up in Martha's Vineyard over the weekend. All of a sudden, I pick up the Boston Herald there, and their planes are landing in Logan with these immigrants, and they're throwing them all over the place. And then something came up, and a little light bulb came on, and a guy contacted. Was that
the overhead light that you put?
Yeah, and a guy contacted me. There was RFPs put out for lodging and feeding large groups of people.
Tell people what RFPs are.
RFPs are proposals there, and what they were put out. This was a year ago. So our emperor. You call him the president, I call him the emperor. This is an emperor with no clothes on because he's just nothing. He knew in his mind the Republican and Democratic Congress was not going to approve any of this nonsense. He knew what he was going to do. Executive Order, and that's what he's been doing. You want to know something? This is not a president. This is a king. He thinks he's a king. He doesn't want to abide by anything. Now he's going to go for 2 weeks to Martha's Vineyard to play a little golf. The world is ending. I mean, Israel's in turmoil. Everything's going on. Let's just play a little golf. This is what we're dealing with. A CEO is a non-functionatatious CEO, and that's the problem. And worse is, if you're bad, you hire the best to make you look good. He's hired these non-clippers. You ever hear one of those? That means people that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, the head of Homeland Security is his main qualification, in my view, is that he was a big contributor to Obama.
Well, that's exactly what's going on now. And all of a sudden, these czars, I think there's 40-somewhat czars, they couldn't pass any kind of congressional approval. Right, so what he does is he appoints them. This is what our government is all about. And then when you have my friend, the Attorney General, who I happen to like, Eric Holder, as a person, even though our politics are right.
Wait a minute, why? My head was going to spin around.
I like Eric as a person, but when he comes out and he quotes Al Sharpton, this is the Attorney General saying racism is rampant in this country. I don't know what country he's in, but as far as I'm concerned, everyone's an American here, and we're all one. And when the Attorney General's talking about, well, you could look at the racism, look what happened with the L.A. Clippers owner. That's racism? That's what you got to talk about? You're the Attorney General, baby. It's got to get a little better than that.
And the Black Panther at the voting poll with the club, that wasn't racism.
Also, well, wait a second. Why should you have to have identification to vote. But when you go on a plane, you got to have identification. Why should you have to? You know why? Because we want to make sure the people who are voting are the persons that's supposed to be voting. I ran for the United States Congress back in 1986. They had people on buses voting 3 and 4 times. We followed them around, and that's what we have. There's cheating done. Why shouldn't we have a government that secures our elections by knowing the people that are voting are supposed to be the people who are voting? What is so bad of having an ID card?
It's even most blacks favor voter ID. Even most blacks. That's what the polls show. So it is a ridiculous issue, and it's a demagogue issue, like most of the left demagogues most issues. But you're a CEO. The president not going down to the border, saying he doesn't want a photo op, and on the same day he gets a photo op drinking beer and playing pool. Then the media establishes and compiles photo op after photo op after photo op after photo op. Even CNN was saying, this guy doesn't like photo ops? Oh yeah, and they ran him. What kind of CEO is that?
What kind of CEO? When you got kids, even Jesse Jackson's jumping ugly with them. When they're talking about $4 billion now, look at, there are kids all over this world, in Africa, in the Middle East. We can't be everything to everybody. We have to secure our borders and make America the great country we used to be. Because you know what it is? Nationalism is gone. We walk around the United States, go around the world. You see how they think of America. We got kids being gunned down in Chicago, New York, Detroit. We need more cops in Chicago. You got the other communist there. What's his name? Rahm Emanuel. And we got Big Bird here in New York. His cousin, the other socialist, that's going on vacation.
With the strike coming on the LIRR.
13 days vacation. Where the trains are closing down.
And he's going to like Hawaii. He's going to be way
he's going to Italy.
Oh, Italy. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Big Bird's going to Italy. And I call him Big Bird. I'll call it to his face, too. What he's done in this city. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't want an investigation into stop and frisk because he doesn't want to see the facts. He says that's racist to investigate if stop and frisk has stopped the shootings. We know one thing. Shootings in our minority neighborhoods are being caused. And it's not the NRA that's doing it. You know who's doing it? The illegal guns. And if you don't use stop and frisk in a professional, courteous way, you're going to have those guns on the street. Cops are not going to get involved. When you tell a cop, well, if you toss somebody, you don't find a gun. And if you're sued personally, you're going for it. We're not going to represent you. That's garbage. You know what's happening? It's this is like a regurgitation, reversal of the rights of the American citizens.
Well, I've been playing sound bites of African-American citizens in Houston, in in Chicago, saying that, hey, I don't care about these kids. I'm at the border. What about my kids? What about our kids? The people in Chicago, a whole montage of them saying Obama will be the worst president ever unless he stops the shootings here and worries about our kids.
No. Let's get the $4 billion and let's feed everybody that's coming over. Give them clothes, give them cards where they can go and get anything for free. Heck with our kids in Chicago, New York, and Detroit. We got our children, and these children are all our children. Black, white, yellow, I don't care what you are. You're an American. We got to protect our own kids before we're worried about people from all over the world. Hey, if we're worrying so much, there's hundreds of thousands of children being killed in Africa, being killed in the Middle East. Maybe we should go and help everybody. We've got to draw the line and help ourselves. This is America. When I was born, I was proud to be an American. I'm still proud. I wear a flag. But I tell you what, this thing today, when I read this thing really got me upset. And I'm upset right now. This is the first show I did about this. It ain't going to be the last one.
I could tell.
And I tell you what, damn it, that's all I got to say. When they can board a plane with a piece of paper, I need ID, photo ID. The guy tells me, your thing's expired. You can't come on the plane. My ID was expired. I couldn't board the plane. And now these guys are going, come on.
And now these kids who are flying all over the country, they're going to have to be taken to schools. They don't have shots. We don't know what they got. We don't know what they're carrying. We had one expert on yesterday, medical expert. It's on Drudge right now.
Yeah.
She said tropical diseases that our medical people aren't even accustomed or equipped to recognize and handle is a threat.
You know how bad it is when you fly as it is.
Yeah.
Anybody who has a cough or cold, you get off the plane, you're sick.
Yeah.
Imagine now you got some foreign disease. Now, you know yourself, these middle, what do you call that? Central American countries, there is a poverty level there where disease is very prevalent.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean to knock my Central American neighbors. It is what it is. They're not able to get the proper health facilities there, injections and all that. These people are coming in. When you fly to somewhere else, you got to get your ejections. These people just coming across. And Obama knew what he was going to do a year ago. He knew he couldn't get congressional approval, so he's just did it. Obama always does.
He's fundamentally changing America.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
I just
every
hope
day.
I just hope one thing. I just hope, really, I pray to the good Lord that one thing, he's not able to do too much more. And I mean, we've got to block him. And people laugh about suing him and impeaching him. But Bona, he's on top of this one.
Great to see you. I love it.
Right.
I know your passion is just goes without saying, and I love the pin too.
Thank you very much.
Pin, for what it stands for and for what it looks like. All right, Beau Dietl, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we'll speak to Beau many, many times in the future. When we come back, we're going to change things up a bit, and you know what it's time for, the end of the hour. It's the one and only Gimme 5 coming up next on the Steve Malzberg Show, only on Newsmax Television. Don't go away.